first question I'd like to be asked is, what are my values? What are my morals? What do I believe in? Okay? And not necessarily religion, just like overall, like what do I stand for as a
I would
man?
be so uncomfortable if somebody asked me that on the first date.
Okay? Yeah.
Check, please.
Like, all right, here we go. Okay.
Check, please. This is.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Who Can Relate. I know you see the, I want to call it an upgrade, but this is like rented, borrowed time right now. So I am at one of my guests' house, and he's fully loaded with the best equipment. So you were definitely in for a treat for this one. So today we're going to be talking about what a man thinketh on a date, more or less. So without further ado, let me introduce you guys to the best. You set me up. Okay. The best duo this side of the hill.
A friend can ask for.
Sure. Yeah.
Is that all right?
It's fine.
That's
yeah.
That's pretty weak. Hold on.
Hold
on. I got you.
And then Jared confused it a little bit more by throwing that.
I'll do it again.
And the grass is always green.
Yeah.
And the sky is always blue.
And the clouds are always white.
That's it.
All right. Let me introduce you to Mr. Jared Brady.
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
And Mr. We're just going to call him Los.
Hey, everybody.
You'll find out why.
Hey, everybody.
And so before we get into like the background and Los's getup, I want to again talk about why
It's a fantastic outfit. I don't know why we're
a normal day for you.
drawing attention to it like it's unusual.
I don't think I'm drawing attention to it.
I feel like you're unnecessarily drawing attention to it. It's
I think
not
as
like
soon as the camera went to you, people were like, "Who and what is this guy?"
I think as soon as the camera went to me, people were like, "Wow,
This is a superstar.
that guy is."
I for sure think it's a superstar.
He's a superstar.
Yeah,
He's probably linked into the high fashion world. He
That's
probably
facts.
lunches with
Show him the Crocs.
Oh yeah,
Complete the outfit.
it's real true camo.
There you go.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
people probably take a look at me and just think, Naomi Campbell,
Yeah, instantly.
like that type of
Naomi,
fashion.
Nipsey,
Yeah.
married, had a baby. Here you are.
Like who's the most stylish person you can think of?
Jared Brady.
All right,
Hey.
so take that and multiply it times 100, and you still haven't reached the levels of style.
Oh,
I would
wow.
agree with
pulling
that.
off with this.
I would
you
agree with
agree
that.
with
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Okay,
I would
there
agree with that.
This particular look,
Yeah.
Well, as I was saying, we've spent quite a bit of time together because
It's true.
we have
A baby.
another
Oh,
podcast.
well,
Baby.
it is a baby.
It is a
Aha,
baby.
It's a baby.
There it
Yeah,
is.
see?
Yeah.
We have a baby together.
And it's called Enjoy the Podcast.
Yep.
And this is kind of says a lot to do with why these guys are on. So I've been waiting to introduce
Literally
everybody.
the only reason why.
No. I got a
never
great,
have us
I got a great
otherwise.
script. Don't even worry about it. And
No, stop talking while JD's trying to lead.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'm sober today, so.
The one thing I would never say. Lo, stop talking.
Yeah, I'll edit it out.
You'll get edited out.
I'm only going to talk a lot on Who Can Relate, not on our podcast.
Right? the same fan's gonna be like, who is this?
Like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. So, anyways, little bit more background. Let's start with you, Jay. What you got? Where you from?
Where I'm from?
Yeah.
So I would like to say I am from Southern California.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad, my entire life lived in LA.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in Newport Beach. Shout out to y'all. I'm from the beach.
I didn't know that.
But I didn't live there. See,
Okay.
that's a funny story how I ended up there. So
Okay.
my grandma worked in Newport Beach, and my mom was pregnant when she was in high school.
Okay.
So
got it.
towards the end of the, pregnancy,
Yeah.
she would go to work with her just in case.
Yeah.
Boom. And then boom happened.
Newport Beach.
And I was in Newport Beach.
Got it.
And my mom lived in Riverside. So I grew up, driving back and forth between Riverside and LA.
Yeah.
So Southern California.
Okay. What about you, Los? I mean, obviously, but
Well,
most people know.
I grew up all over the South, but home to me is Alabama because that's where,
Right.
my family's at.
Right.
So, yeah, I grew up all over the South. I moved to L.A. About 10 years ago, and I've been out here working in music and living the dream ever since.
Hey, I'm mad at you. Okay.
The music dream.
The music dream.
dream.
Well said. Again, you're talking so much more on
Or
my
nightmare,
show.
whichever one you want to call
You
it.
said
That's because
dream.
you're coaching me. You're giving me questions.
So
yeah.
compliment to me. I appreciate it.
Oh, God. Here we go.
All right.
I'll take that.
All right. So today, we're going to be talking about something that I'm almost positive the women especially
Yeah.
are going to love to hear
Yeah.
Okay.
and hopefully love to know.
Yeah.
And the beauty of the three of us is that if anyone is on here who's also a fan of Enjoy the Podcast,
Yeah.
we are cut from different cloths.
Yep.
We definitely have very different opinions
Yep.
on usually the same topic.
Yeah, sure.
And so, again, today we're going to be talking about kind of just the mindset of a man on a date.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I want to kick this off with, what do you guys want to be asked on a date from a woman? A little bit more context to it, okay?
Okay.
Let's say this is the first date,
Okay.
and let's say you've already done the Instagram scroll, you've done the zoom ins, right? And you
Zoom in.
yeah, zoom in. You don't zoom in?
You don't zoom in, bro?
No.
You're lying.
Yeah.
I'm a gentleman.
You're lying.
Oh, okay.
I'm a
You're
gentleman.
I'm a
lying.
gentleman
Zoom
too.
in.
You're lying.
We zoom in.
Yeah, he's lying.
So let's say it's first date, and again, this is what you guys would like to be asked from a woman, and give me 5.
Interesting.
My place or yours? No.
Here we go. See? There we go. By the way, if you're gonna find out, if you don't know already, Jared and I are happily married. Los is happily single,
That's right.
and just to
Holla
throw
at
that
me.
disclaimer out there.
Well,
Los, yeah, you start. You
no,
start.
all right.
Continue.
Like on a serious note, let's see.
5.
Dang, that's
That's a lot of questions. But
a. What would I like to be asked?
Mm-hmm. Got a lot of
Wow.
editing to do.
I'm yeah, you're gonna have some editing to do because I've never actually thought about like what would I like
Exactly.
her to ask me.
You want me
Do
to
you
go?
have something that you could throw
Oh,
out
yeah,
there
go
just to
ahead,
maybe get?
So for
Yeah,
me,
from
for
a
me,
Right,
woman,
what
yeah.
do
for
you
me,
want to be asked?
just ask me where I'm from.
Okay.
Ask me, what was my childhood grow up like? Not deep, not like deep or whatever, but like,
Okay.
do you have both parents? Do you have this
Right,
and whatever?
right.
I always like to know if they have any siblings, so ask me if I have any siblings.
Okay.
I did the reversal question is interesting because I don't.
Well, we're gonna get into it.
Yeah. No, because what I'm saying is why it's a hard question to answer is because I don't necessarily am super in the moment wanting to divulge my inner workings.
Right. Yeah. That's
So when
Yeah.
you say like what, I don't know what she wants to know about me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So for me, I think everything on the first date, for me, I like it to be light,
Surface.
fun.
Yeah.
Not even, it doesn't have to be surfacey, but it doesn't have to be like,
too deep.
I need to find the nitty gritty of who you
Okay.
are.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So I think all of the questions that need to be asked to me need to be very simple, very light.
Okay.
But still tell you a lot about yourself,
Yeah,
you know?
okay.
So like that's why I'm saying like how did you grow up? We
Mhm.
know, did you have both parents?
Mm-hmm.
Did you play sports? For some reason, for me that's a big thing because that lets me know, and I know from my experience, my sports
Mm-hmm.
experience led for my self-discipline.
Right.
So the
sure.
teamwork
Are you a
goes
team
into
player?
it,
Can
yeah,
you-
it's just
yeah.
a really, it's a lot.
Can
It's
you work
it's
with
very
others?
telling.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what other questions
You
would
got
be
2 more. to
would
round
be
out your
very
5.
very important.
Yeah.
Ask me ask me what is my timeline as far as when I would like to be married and when I would like to have kids.
Okay. Sorry to cut you off, but that's a little bit more than light.
That's definitely more than
That's
light.
diving deep.
Yeah, maybe it is.
So
maybe
he likes
it's
a little
diving deep.
mix. He likes
Yeah,
a
you like a
little-
mix.
little bit of
Maybe
something,
it is
You're a
deep.
medium
Yeah.
well kind of guy.
Maybe it's deep. Maybe it is deep. I know that those are things that would change over time, but it would let me know what your mindset is
Yeah.
at
Okay.
that moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
What,
then you got one more for the
Oh,
woman to
oh,
ask
one
me.
more.
Yeah.
Yep. One more.
one more question that I would like somebody to ask me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like, what's your favorite food?
Okay.
What's your favorite food?
Is that-
Hopefully,
is that
if
like
you're
a
at dinner,
culture?
you're at the place that you like, because
Yeah.
it's be weird. Like, what's your favorite food? And you're like Italian.
Yeah, we're at a sushi
At
spot.
a sushi place.
Is that like a culture?
I like Italian food.
Well, I mean,
Background on it?
for me, it's the first date is all about conversation. It doesn't
Right.
really matter what you guys are talking about
It's a
at that
vibe.
moment.
It's a
Yeah,
vibe,
it's
yeah.
so that's why that question is so hard for me to answer because it's like I would just like to go off of the vibe and see where we go. I
Okay,
don't think I
yeah.
have a specific 5 questions that I need her to ask me on
Okay.
that first date for me to look at her.
So
as
you're
somebody.
looking at just overall first date. I'm trying to get the vibe, trying to get the feel of it.
less to do with me trying to dive into who you are and you trying to
Okay.
dive into who I am.
Okay.
I think it just more should be just light wherever the conversation goes.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
All right. What do you got, Los?
So, I kind of agree with you. I don't necessarily have a set like these are what I'd like to be asked, but I have some ideas of things that I think would be good for me personally. Like like asking me maybe what's something in my career that I'm proud about that I've that I've done. Like
that's a good one.
what's something that you've accomplished in the last 5 years that that brings you pride. Maybe like what's your favorite type of movies or favorite movie? Like just light stuff like that can get a conversation going and spark additional pathways to other conversations. So maybe let's see.
One.
That's two.
That's two. My bad. My bad.
So let's see. Oh, like as basic as it sounds, like what do you like to do in your free time? Like how do you occupy the time that isn't spent working or like what do you do with yourself?
Sure. For
Hobbies
fun.
and
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Edit it.
Hobbies and things.
So is that 3, 4?
That's
four.
three. That's are we gonna do 4? I mean, I'll
We
take
got 5.
the
You
extra
got 5.
You got 5. You got
let's
2 more.
see. All right, we'll throw a random one since I'm gonna go a little medium rare like Jared. Which member of my family am I closest with?
Ooh.
That could be an
I like
interesting
that.
one.
That's very telling
That
too.
is very telling.
Yeah.
Do you think the woman would assume your mom?
All right, so we could even make it a step further and say outside of your mom or dad.
Right.
Who are you closest to?
Because that to me would be the follow-up for a woman to a man.
I mean, for me, it would be hard because it's like a toss-up between both my mom, my dad, and even my pops. Like all 3 of them, I'm pretty close to.
Okay.
It's different relationships, but yeah, I'm answering my question here.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that would be. I think that could be
I like that.
a fun one.
That's kind of medium. I don't know if that's medium rare.
What?
You're like medium well. That's
Me?
good. That's
well,
good.
yeah, it's interesting because I don't.
It's a tough thing.
Yeah,
to,
I don't
is,
have
because
like
it reminds me.
I
of
know what I want from her.
Yeah.
That's coming up next.
Yeah.
Well, and it reminds me of the job interview. Describe yourself. And it's
Right.
Really, thanks a lot. Beep hole. Like.
But I think your questions are really good.
It was very well rounded.
Yeah. Your questions
well,
are.
I'm trying to give a little bit of everything here. We can get deep if we want to, or we can just keep it light.
So for me,
what would you?
The traditional of the 3 of us.
Oh boy, here we go.
What are you gonna say?
Okay,
so you're going head in, huh?
I go head in.
Oh my gosh.
I go head in.
What is your
gosh.
question? Hit me.
Full disclosure. Shay and I, our very first conversation was 6 hours long.
Was it on the phone?
It was on the phone. We're long distance.
So to your point on that, like what I was gonna say, on that first date, a lot of the first questions I would have probably already had the conversation.
Right, exactly.
So that's why it's hard on that first date. I think
sure.
the first date should be a vibe.
Totally. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, our first ever interaction,
Yeah.
our first ever conversation, right, was very deep. It was serious. And again, we talked for 6 hours. I mean, I asked her. I have different answers, but I asked her, do you want to have kids? I said, would you ever consider moving to Chicago? At the time I was still living there.
Yeah.
And I think I asked her, there was another deep question too, I forgot. But anyways, when I give this response, I'm going to go back to single JD answers. Okay. Still pretty deep. First question I'd like to be asked is, what are my values? What are my morals? What do I believe in? Okay. And not necessarily religion, just like overall, like what do I stand for as a man?
I would be so uncomfortable if somebody asked me that on the first date.
Okay. Yeah.
Check, please.
Like, all right, here we go. Okay.
Check, please. I'll just.
Credit to you. Yeah.
The second question would be, what do I look for in a woman?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I would want to be asked.
Man, show me the door.
The third question, exactly. No, this is great. This is why we're all different. This is why it works. The third question would be, what are my intentions for this situation?
Yeah.
Okay. Whether it's a situationship, it's a relationship, or whatever it is, right? My other question would be, what's my plan, right? Not just for the relationship or whatever we're doing, but ultimate plan. Like, what's your purpose in life? Do you think you found it, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's again what I would like to be asked. And then the last question is, how do I communicate? That's what I would like to be asked. Now, the reason being, so here's like full circle, right? I'm going to tie it all together. My answers, at least, I'll speak on behalf of myself. My answers are solely predicated on, I date with the intent to marry.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm dating with the intention of a full-on relationship, a traditional, committed relationship, monogamy relationship. That's why I want to be asked those questions. Now, that's why I always said this is very subjective. If someone is going into this just like, I want to have fun, I met you on whatever dating app, I had no plans Friday night, you were free, whatever it is, okay? My situation has always been different. I've always dated with the intent of being married. That's why my answers are my answers.
Do you think a lot of those questions you would be able to find out just through casual conversation?
Here's my other important context too. Again, this is how I would be now, again, if I was single. But the other thing is like, I'm assuming that the person I'm on this date with knows herself, right? She's been through the growing pains. She's been through the ups and downs, the trial and errors of relationships. I myself am at that point. That's also important context, right? Because if I'm just immature, if I'm 24-year-old JD, I'm not going to ask these questions. I'll probably do like a combination of all three of us and maybe one of mine. But grown, mature, looking for a wife version of myself, that's what I'm asking.
That's beautiful. And that's probably why you and your wife worked out.
Exactly.
You know, I'm always like a firm believer, like when you want to cup water, or when you want to grab water, you cup it. And so if I would have came in so hot with those questions, I know for me, I would have squeezed that water and it just would have ran away, and I could have lost out something that was really good. And I always like to,
metaphor.
I always like to like go through at least with the first date. I always like to go into it with no intentions, no anything on top of it. I'm just connecting with another human.
Right.
And those things that I'm looking for in a wife would come up. Not necessarily if it was like, hey, what are your intentions with me?
Right.
You know, because at the end of the day, I don't know what my intentions with you are
yet.
I don't know. I have to get to know you, and not by your words. I want to get to know you by your actions.
Totally.
Like a lot of things tell me, like one thing I always share about Shan, like, you know, she used to always get so mad because a lot of our first dates, I just love to just sit there in the world with her. I didn't want to really ask her a lot of questions. I didn't really want to go into it too deep with her. I just got so much joy, and I got to know her so well just by the way she would drink her water, just by the way she would hold her cup, just by the way that she would eat and organize her food. Like there was a level of her that I got to know just by watching her live life. And so for me, like, at least obviously over time, those are the questions that will come up. But I think in the beginning, when we're first building that foundation, it needs to be light. And this is just for me, not for everybody. A lot of people are different, but for me, it needs to be light. It needs to be slow. It needs to be less about because at the end of the day, people lie. People they put their intentions out there that are maybe they want this, but their actions are speaking so differently. So I just like to live. I like to watch. But that's just like my own personal experience
that's
with it.
First of all, it's beautiful, and that's it makes sense.
Poetic.
But it makes sense for you and your wife and your marriage.
Exactly.
It
That's
makes
how
total sense.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys are of the go with the flow, so to speak. You're whatever comes, whatever's supposed to happen. I think for me. And I also think it's a important context to bring up here is actually it's a question for you guys. Do you think some of those answers that we had stem from past experiences? What they lacked in childhood? Right? The heartbreaks that we've all been through, right? Because so for me, the reason why I asked my questions was because I was of the mindset now that the most precious thing that we all have on this earth is time. Okay. I value my time. I try to take advantage of my time. I don't want to be taken advantage of my time, right? So that's why I'm asking my future wife, and happens to be Shay, these particular questions because you
knew what your goal was.
I knew what my goal was, but I'm also very impatient. I'm not proud of that, but I am very impatient. So I was like, well, what are we doing here? And I also was long distance, which has a lot to do with it. So I needed to know kind of these things ahead of time. Like if I'm in LA and my girlfriend's here or the girl I'm seeing is here, I may not be, speeding. Okay, I'll be going the speed limit. Right? So again, but my question to you guys is, do you guys agree? Do you think that has a lot to do with
100%.
Okay.
100%. And that's why I think like you and Shay found each other at the perfect time.
Right.
The perfect time. Because you were going into it like, look, I've done all the other stuff. I took the easy road. I took the light road, and I'm just looking for my person. You know, that's it.
Okay.
So I mean, commend you for knowing what you want. What you want,
and I commend you for being patient.
Yeah.
And not maybe you didn't even know what you want, but you're like, I'm just gonna see what it evolves to.
I was also a lot younger.
Okay.
When I met Shan.
Okay.
And so I think I knew for me, if I were to go drive into her like that, like just this is what I want. What do you want from me? What do you want for this? I would have stuffed it out.
Okay.
Like fire needs oxygen.
Right.
If I would just
let it breathe.
hold it in, and then it would have the fire would have went out, and we would have
Right.
not be here. You know.
Right. Because I would think that, again, and I guess I'll speak on behalf of myself. Like, I ask those questions because I wish I would have asked those questions before in past relationships. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I think, as you always say, you repeat what you don't repair, right? So if you keep asking the same useless questions continuously, right, and you just keep going into these dates or relationships, and you never change your plan of attack, for for lack of a better term, you're gonna end up with the same results. Right. You know what I mean? So hopefully you learn from past mistakes and past traumas, etc., and that influences what you do moving forward and helps you pick somebody that's more suitable, more compatible to what you need and what you desire.
Yeah. I like that. Great answer. You're surprising me today, man.
He's not surprising me at all.
Oh.
You know why? Because I know this guy, and I know what he could do, and I know what he could bring, but he, for some reason, on Enjoy the Podcast, he don't want to bring it.
And who can relate?
Okay.
Is it more of a talk show than Enjoy the Podcast?
It's a better show.
Okay, so now, what questions, again, we'll go with 5, would we ask women?
Oh. Well, you know what I have to say? I am a terrible dater, right? So
wait. I got some.
I'm not good at dating.
Follow-up questions. Why would you consider yourself a terrible dater?
Because I do not date with intent. I mean, so I guess I'm a terrible dater in that sense. I'm a good dater if you just want to have fun. Like,
yeah.
I'm a great time.
Sure.
But if you're, like, I don't have intent. So for me, my questions are very.
But I'm the same.
Very light, right? Yeah,
I'm
like
the same.
I'm not asking you heavy stuff. I mean, I don't really have a set 5, but whatever they are, they're going to be like, where'd you grow up?
Yeah.
What do you like to do for fun? Like, what are some of your hobbies? Musical interests. I'll ask stuff like that. What's the last vacation you took? Where'd you go? Have you traveled? I always ask people if they traveled. That is one thing that I do ask consistently, because I've noticed, at least for myself, that travel broadens your mind. Totally. It expands your horizons.
100%.
And it makes you be able to relate to different people, different walks of life easier, because you do realize that we're all the same pretty much. Like, we all do the same crap no matter where you are in the world.
Yeah.
You may eat your tomato sauce differently, but Mexicans eat tomatoes, Italians eat tomatoes,
right.
Africans eat tomatoes,
yeah.
Americans, like, we all eat tomatoes. You know what I mean? So I'd always ask that, just because I am curious to see if they've been outside of their own city.
Yeah.
That's actually great. I like that. We got you.
Yeah, it goes back to my original point. Like, I think in the beginning, I'm not asking anything too deep. Just like you. Yeah. First date, my intentions are not to drive this forward. Okay. My intentions are to get to know who you are on a light scale. All the things that are deep will surface,
right,
eventually.
And for me, it's gonna be similar to you. Where did you grow up? Who are you? Who is your, like, friend group? What do you guys do on your side time? What do you do for work? These type of questions that are the things that I'm gonna ask. Right. And I like to make it real light. I might ask something crazy, like, if a polar bear and a shark were out of space, who would win? You know what I mean? Like, something like just gonna
get personality.
And go with the shark, because I feel like the shark has more of a.
We're on a date right now.
We are. I feel like the shark. I'm just sorry. I had to answer that question. That's a great question. I'm in my head thinking of polar bears and sharks in space. The shark's already in water, so I'm thinking space might be a little bit more of a similar environment. So I think the shark has the upper hand.
You might be right.
There you go.
You might be right.
Like
but that's so my point is just
see what you just did. That was a great question, man.
Great icebreaker.
So
where are we going for dessert?
I don't know. But like, I just keep it very light. And the deep will surface, and over time, it's got to get to know it. And a lot of times, to your point, I've already went through your Instagram. I already know who you
We've
are.
stalked you.
Yeah, I already really, really understand you. So, you know, a lot of the questions might be tailored to whoever that person is.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I saw that you in this picture. You were at a concert. Who's your favorite artist? You know,
How much do you think we can actually depend on that, right? Because people put on for their Instagram.
Yeah,
They do.
highlight reels.
Exactly.
They do.
It is exactly perfect. It's the highlight reel, right? So how much of that do
but
you
the
think,
first date is going to be a highlight reel as well.
Yeah.
Because they're
To
not
an
going to
extent,
come
you're
in and
right.
give you
Yeah,
the
nobody's
nitty gritty. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
not going to
yeah.
come in and give you the nitty gritty. They're going to say, you know, the things that they think you're going to want to hear because they stalked you too.
Yeah.
You know? So I just think, the first date is so hard to get into the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, but I think it's always subjective because it depends on what you're looking for. It depends on your level of patience, as I literally just learned right now. I don't have the patience.
Yeah.
And I think it also has, especially for women, I shouldn't assume, but I'm thinking their age, right? If they want to have kids and you're on a date with a woman who's 35 and doesn't have kids yet and wants to, you can't really talk about who's going to win a polar bear or shark in outer space. You may be able to, but she's going to be like, he's on some childish. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I would
or
probably peep
she's
that.
gonna think you'd be a really good dad because you have an imagination and you'll be able to play with the kids.
I would peep that though before I went on the date.
He's gonna be.
I would peep that.
Exactly.
I would peep
Yeah.
that, like
Right.
knowing her timeline and everything. I would peep
Right.
that, and I would change the way that I adjusted.
And that's it. Like, that's why it's subjective.
Yeah.
You know, so again, I think, you know, if women are watching this, that's the first thing they're probably going to say is, but yeah, it's easy for you guys to say you're not, you know, your clock's not ticking kind of thing, right? So it's important to bring that up.
When do you guys think we get the real person? What date?
Good question.
I think you probably wouldn't get that real person until a month in.
Dang, a month in. I didn't have a day or a date or whatever, but when you said that, it sounded like a lot. But I think you're probably right.
Yeah, you're not gonna
Because
get a
by
real.
then the walls are kind of, you know, the guards being dropped a little bit.
I think it depends on how often you talk
Yeah.
and then how often you see each other.
Yeah, that's
You
a good
know,
point.
so for example, for Shay and I, we were long distance.
Right.
So the real us might not have been till 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but we also talked every day. So
How
if
long? How long do you think it was until y'all had your first disagreement?
Early on,
Yeah.
I think, and it stemmed from triggers from both of us,
Yeah.
actually. But it was within our first month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the backstory, I remember we were talking. I was like, hey, I got to call you back. I have to move my car. And I didn't call her back for a while. I moved the car, came upstairs and forgot. I got busy with something else.
Yeah.
And she called me and she's like, you never called me back. You know, you said you were moving your car. And I was like, whoa. And I had a trigger from an ex that had trust issues.
That would have triggered me too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, well, I mean, I didn't time it. Like, were you timing me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and she, you know, then later on we discussed that and unpacked. She had triggers.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, she had
An ex that probably would
and-
go ghost.
an ex or cheated on her, right?
Yeah.
Infidelity issues. So for her, you know,
That
she's
timeline was
exactly. So for us, it was very early on. But I think in a long distance, it's funny. It could obviously go both ways, but I actually think you find out your disagreements earlier on. I personally, now that I'm in the headspace that I'm at now, and I was for the most sort of this way when I met Shay, I want to learn how you fight. I want to learn how, again, you communicate. That was why it was one of my questions because, you know, looks are one thing, the job is another thing, but none of that stuff is going to last necessarily, right? But how you communicate and how you fight, that's kind of concrete, especially depending on what age you are.
Yeah.
If you're in your 30s, kind of is what it is. You can improve a little bit, right? So for me, learning that about her, I'm like, no problem. I took that as a foundation brick and put it to what we're trying to build. Yeah. Right? So, okay, so moving on. I want to know, what are red flags? Now it doesn't. I'm going to take off the date word off the table, right? So what's a red flag? And here's my important context: early into this dating situation. Obviously subjective.
For me, it's like too much communication.
Okay.
Like if you're like let me miss you a little bit.
Right.
Right. Like
right.
I
relate to that.
Yeah, like
Relates
and
to
I've had issues with even with like women who are like friends with benefits situations, right? Where it's like, and I mean this sounds cold, but like I don't want you texting me asking me how my day was. Like I don't need you like asking me, you know, like every now and like once a week, like, hey, just thought of you. How was your day? Like, that's cool. But like, I don't need daily, like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Like that, like, you know, respect the boundaries, so to speak. But as far as like somebody that I'm dating or getting to know, same kind of thing. Like, I don't like the constant, like, hey, what's up? Like every 2 hours, every other hour, like it is every 2 hours, every hour,
every 2 hours, every other hour,
every other hour. What's it like? No, but yeah, no, like, you know, maybe I don't know. It feels kind of like to say it, but I don't want you texting me all day. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let me miss you, basically, is what I'm saying. Right. Don't always feel like you have to check in or, you know, all that stuff. Just, you know, give me some space.
Yeah.
I think a red flag for me, it's going to depend on, for one, what you spend your time on. So if that is, you're always with your friends, you're always going out, you're always doing something, and you're not building something for yourself if you don't already have something built, that is a red flag for me.
So like a dependent personality is a red flag for you.
It definitely is a depending, but for me, what it tells me
wasteful
is that you're not serious about building something for your life. Then that further lets me know that you're not serious about building a family.
For us.
So it's just like, for me, it's like, look, if you're spending all of your time on your friends and you're going out and you're doing all these things, for me, that just lets me know, like, all right, if we're trying to build something right now, it's not that important to you.
Sure.
To be financially stable, to be all these things. Now, I also want to say, you know, if you already have something built and you have a clockwork and you have the ability to balance all that, that is also a testament. But if you are somebody who doesn't have anything built and you're spending all your time on the wrong areas, that's a red flag.
If you don't take yourself serious, how can I?
It's just a red flag for me. It's just a red flag for me. I would say another red flag for me is substance abuse. And not in the sense of like,
well, like you said, abuse.
Yes,
substance abuse, not substance use.
Yes,
substance
abuse.
Right.
Exactly. So that for me is just a red flag for me as well.
When I wrote this question down, a lot came to my mind.
Yeah.
And the Rolodex came from past dating experiences, right? And now that I can collectively look at them with a hindsight, I think the first thing for me that really kept, you know, standing out was lack of accountability. You know, like, and
something's always somebody else's fault.
You're pointing the finger,
right?
And Shay, actually, because I was prepping with her before I came over, and she said, you know, I was like, what would you want to be asked, or what would you ask on a first date? And she said, I would ask about their ex, with the sole intent to
see how bad they ragged on them.
Exactly. To see how they talk about them. Now, I failed that test. Because she was asking
sucked.
Me early in our relationship about my ex.
And you were just,
and I was just like, she's the problem. I would point the finger. Not all the time, but I wouldn't talk nice about her.
That's an interesting question.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh,
that's some game. Right
well,
there.
luckily we're married. You know, Shay and I. But I definitely failed. But again, so if you ask someone, tell me about your ex. You know what I mean, and just kind of find out how they. Just if they get fidgety.
That's not a fair question.
Well, I was gonna say it is kind of loaded because here's the thing. Like,
not fair.
Like
that's
either way, you can kind of lose either way, right? Because it's like either you shoot on your ex, and like, you know, then you fail the Shay test, right?
Yeah.
Or you
hype them up.
You hype them up, and now you look like, well, why are you here with me?
Why are they the standard?
Well, not just that, but like, are you over your ex?
Right.
Or why are you even at dinner with me if this person is that great? Like, go back to
them.
So
what's the acceptable response?
Well,
I'll just tell you the truth.
Is there one?
Yeah, no, I think this is not fair because this is the reason why. You're in close proximity with this ex, right? And love is a drug. So you have an emotional, chemical imbalance with this ex. If you've been with a couple years of a relationship with an ex, you had love that was built.
Sure.
Regardless if we called it the English language love.
Yeah.
You have love that was built between you and that person. And when you guys lose that love, you go through withdrawals.
Sure.
So the only way that a lot of people get over their ex is by looking at the worst parts of their ex. because you have that chemical imbalance, that longing of that person. So the only memory that you're going to have of your ex are going to be terrible.
See, I think you're being assumptuous in the type of relationship that people like. You're kind of assuming that everybody's going to have the same type of relationship with their ex and the same falling out and whatnot in the same amount of time.
Why do you think relationship? Because I'm not speaking on relationship. I'm talking about your memory.
Well, if you're an ex, that's what you're
like your same type of relationship. Like they're still
right.
not that they're still together now.
Right. No, I get that.
Yeah. Okay.
What I'm saying is the question to me, or the way you're framing that, seems presumptuous, because what you're saying is basically like everybody's experience with their exes in that relationship is going to be the same, right? So like you're kind of saying that, well, you have dated for a few years, you have a certain amount of love that you built, whereas you may have dated somebody for 6 months and just be like, this ain't working. Like we don't really have
that's what I said earlier. Unless you dated for like only a couple months.
Well,
if you had a real lasting relationship with somebody, if you stayed in that relationship for longer and you didn't like it,
right?
What was that? Why were you there?
Yeah.
If we break it down into just scientific, not even feeling, not even relationship, science, right? When you get together with somebody, when you cuddle, there's oxytocin that gets released. That is bonding.
You're creating
you guys.
bonds, right.
So off rip, if I'm with somebody every single day and we're together every single day,
right,
and then all of a sudden that person is not there, you're going to feel withdrawal.
Okay.
You're going to
your
feel
body's
withdrawal.
craving that.
You're going
that
to feel
other
withdrawal.
Half. Okay.
And a lot of times, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of times to get over that ex, you're not going to focus on the good in that ex.
Right.
You're going to focus on the negatives of that ex.
Because it helps. It's easier for you to move on.
It's easier for you to move on. It's easier for you to cope. It's easier for you to understand.
Well, they're like cigarettes at that point. It's a habit.
Yeah.
You got to break that habit somehow. So you're going to highlight
turkey,
the negative things,
whatever,
like why
So,
I'm going to stop smoking because it's going to kill me.
Right.
So I hated that. Well, I should break up with Jared because he's manipulative.
Exactly. And you're going to think of all the negatives, and your girls are going to tell you all the negatives, and your boys are going to tell you all the negatives.
Right.
So when you get to the next relationship and you go on a date and they ask you about your ex, the first things that are going to pop in your mind is the negatives. So that's why I think it's a setup question.
But I will say at the same time, it's a setup question, but it's a great question. It's kind of like the open relationship thing, right? That Shan hit you with. Like, you're either gonna you're gonna sink or swim, right? Because you may actually answer that with a level of maturity and insight that the person did not expect. You might actually come through and be like, you know what, my ex was XYZ, but a lot of it was because I was XYZ. We didn't work out because my ex was manipulative.
You're gonna do that on your first date.
Some people, I think there are people in this world that are mature enough and have done the work that they can answer honestly and openly like that.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, personally, I would be able to.
But even if it's not the first date, this is really good because again, I think it's really important that because what I was going to say for you is you said that you think immediately someone asked, tell me about your ex, you think negative. There's a lot of exes that I think are fond, or there's a lot of people out there who are fond of their ex because they help them grow, or they help them get out of whatever bad situation, right? Or they help them evolve, or whatever the case is. So I think there's a lot of people who are like, you know what? I have no ill will towards my ex. I wish him or her all the best. I'm happy that we had our time to, you know what I mean? I think you would still get that kind of response. But here's my, go ahead, unless you want to add.
Well, no, I was gonna say I think it also has a lot to do with timing, right? Like, if I'm a month away from the relationship, I'm most likely gonna go where Jared said. I'm not gonna go to the mature, evolved, low thought process. I'm probably gonna be like, man, it's that month,
Exactly.
But
hindsight.
Exactly. After a while, you develop, a little bit of Monday morning quarterback. You get to look and see, hey, actually, I was able to grow because of this.
This didn't work. Exactly.
Yeah.
So here's my follow-up question. Are you guys cool if your partner is cool with their ex?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. It was really easy for you to answer that. So let's unpack that.
But I'm in an open relationship, so.
Yeah.
Are you in an open marriage?
I am in an open marriage. Yeah. Our relationship did not change because of our marriage status.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I should just ask Los.
Yeah.
Because I mean.
Yeah, I think so. I've never been in a situation where I was jealous of an ex or anything like that. So I don't think that really. But I've never been in that situation either, where somebody was like good friends with an ex.
Are you okay with it?
I'm not okay with it.
You're not.
In any
why
form?
not?
Like,
no.
Oh, okay.
No,
Why not?
I actually got this with an ex that her and I created this, and it just made sense for us, and I still stuck with it carrying on. You can't be friends with someone you fell in love with.
Why not?
You
You
just
feel like
can't.
those coals may not have completely extinguished. There may be a little bit of
Either that
residual.
either that or there's just that bond that you guys, you know, we touched on earlier.
Yeah.
I don't see it as to how it would work, and I also don't see as to why you would even still have them in your life. And when I say friends, I mean like every bit of that
Your
word.
homies.
Yeah, like
yeah.
you talk to them,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
a couple times a year kind of thing, you know, like, so for me, I'm just like, I don't understand why you, because also like, what are you talking about? Because if you're talking about substance, if you're pillow talking, if you know what I mean, if you're sharing that kind of,
Right.
I had a bad day at work, are you free?
Yeah.
Well, how come I'm not getting that call kind of thing? You know what
I feel more secure when my partner can come to that understanding without me putting a rule up.
Okay.
For me personally.
Explain a little bit more. Yeah.
Because like for me, like, and this is the reason why, you know, I think we've settled in an open relationship so well, because people are going to do what they're going to do.
100%.
And the more barriers, like the change that I put up, like, oh, well, you're my partner, so you're not allowed to be friends with your ex.
Right.
But you can if you want.
Yeah.
It's going to tell me a lot about you.
Right.
So you can if
So you
you
put
want.
the ball in their court.
And if you cross that barrier and your friends, you tell me you guys are cool. You guys are good. All right, I'm going to believe that. And I'm going to let you have that. But if you cross the line of where I deemed as disrespectful, then that just lets me know who you are. And now I'm not trapping somebody into a relationship with me to be like, you know, these are the rules. You're with me because these are the rules. No, you're with me because you choose me every day. And that is what I find
so
is
you
love.
you provide the choice.
Yeah, yes.
As opposed to the rule.
Every day that you wake up, you choose me.
Right.
Because you don't have to.
Yeah.
You're not here because of marriage. You're not here because we're in a relationship and my boyfriend society says that this is the rules. You're here because you choose me every single day.
Sure.
And that's
I think both my wife and I, and again, I'm thinking more the traditional side of things. We are both in agreement.
Yeah.
Like she's not friends with any of her exes. I'm
Yeah.
not friends with any of my exes, and that's just kind of the understanding.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate, and I actually, I totally see your perspective with that, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who can relate to that, and I'm sure there's a lot of people, even if they can't initially, they'll let it marinate and be like, that actually makes total sense, because you're gonna find out a lot about someone when you're not looking.
Yeah.
Right. When they think you're not looking, so to speak. So it's kind of like a mind game in a way that but like in a healthy way, right?
Yeah, but it's just like you're learning about that person. It goes back to the first question you asked. It goes back to those questions. Like, I'm not telling you how to act.
Right.
I'm not telling you the questions that are gonna let you know what I'm looking for.
You're gonna sit back and
I'm gonna watch you. I'm gonna let you do your thing. Yeah. And at the end of the day, like, if you decide that this is not something for you, I actually love you enough that I want the best thing for you.
You respect that.
So if it's not me and it's your ex and he connects to you better, I want that for you.
Sure.
And that's just like my stance with it, because it's like, I would never feel good knowing that my partner is faithful to me, or my partner choosing me because, oh, well,
like they have to.
They have to choose me. I mean, I married the guy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I appreciate that perspective. All right, so back to the dating situation. Okay?
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll start with you, Los, because you're the single one here, and then Jared and I will go as the married men.
That's right. That's me.
Do you have a rule as far as when you reach out after the first date, after the
like
second date?
the 3-day rule or something like that?
Do you have a 2-3 day? You don't have a rule?
Nah.
So do you just go off the vibe?
I go off the vibe. Yeah,
Okay.
completely. Like if
because you're also a man who doesn't want to be overly smothered with communication. So
right. But so when I say that doesn't mean like don't text me ever. It just means you know, at 10 o'clock, if you text me, you don't need to text me at 1 o'clock and then at 3 o'clock and then at 5, unless that's the vibe that we're on, right?
Sure.
But if it's like, if we're still getting to know each other, like, you know, just give me a little room. Like, let me.
Okay.
But that said, you know, if we had a great time the night before, I don't see any harm in just like, you know, hey, you know, just thought about you, had a great time,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know, looking forward to the next time we get to hang out. Like,
Okay.
there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that, I don't think.
Okay.
And then also, that opens the door for a conversation to actually happen if it needs to, right? Like, you know,
Right.
maybe she replies back, "Oh, I had a great time too," and then next thing you know, you're having a little, you know, you're
Right, right,
kikiing,
right.
you're kikiing via text. That's fine. Like,
Sure.
you know what I mean? But I think when I say like I need to be able to miss you, what
Mhm.
that's basically saying is like read my vibe, right?
Right.
Like if
right,
you hit
right.
me up and my answers are kind of just like short and, you know, like, yeah, you know, it's cool.
Mhm.
Like take that as me saying, you know,
Yeah.
you know, we don't need to do this quite to that extent.
Right.
But at the same time, if I text you the next day and
Mhm.
you hit me back and you're like, yeah, I had a great time, you know, or no,
Mhm.
you're like, you know, I had a cool time. Or
It's kind of short.
if your answer's a little short or cold or whatever, then I know at that point, all right, I don't need to keep texting this
Right.
person.
Yeah.
Let it breathe.
Yeah.
Maybe come back in a day or two.
Right.
You know? But it's all about the vibe, all about the energy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's such a tricky balance.
Yeah.
It's such a tricky balance.
I know.
It's a tightrope. You gotta
It
walk
is.
it.
It
Yeah.
is.
You really have to have seduction in this area.
Yes.
And
Okay.
when it comes down to your first date, now, granted, tell it who can relate out there. I'm probably not the guy to go for dating advice because I was very unconventional, but
Or maybe that's exactly why you are the guy to go to.
it
for
maybe,
dating advice.
maybe. But for me, you know, I think that there is a art of longing that it needs to be in subduction. So
Mm.
so when you have go on a date, right?
Mhm.
I always am team, let the next day marinate.
Mm.
Let the next day like
Breathe a
soak
little.
in your mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Figure out like, man, what was this person thinking, talking about?
Mhm.
And I almost would go to, don't even text back the second day.
I was gonna say you're on 2 days.
Yeah,
okay.
don't even text back. Now, granted, if she texted me, I would text back.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
But if it's
for
up to
me,
you,
I would let that one,
Should've just
next
gonna leave
one.
her on red.
No, I would never do
I
that.
had a great time
I
with
would
you.
Right.
I would let it ride, and then what I would do is when I first check back in,
Yeah.
depending on the conversation that we just had,
Yeah.
if we were talking about the shark and the polar bear,
That's right.
you know what I mean? If
Yeah,
I
yeah,
saw
yeah.
something or something that reminded me of that conversation or something that she said,
Right. Right.
I would take a picture of it and send it to her.
Okay.
And that's like the type of lightness that I
Yeah.
would go in with it from
Okay.
the first date, you
Sure,
know.
sure. Yeah.
And so yeah,
Okay.
there's an art that has to be there.
There is.
Have you ever lied in order to do that, to seduce?
Just
so
to
speak,
reach
right?
out?
Like, so let me give you an example, right? Like let's say
What do you mean lie?
I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah.
You just shut your trap for a second. I'm joking. No, so like, all right, so like I'm.
Like
No,
you
I
lied
can't,
at
I
where
can't
you
give
were.
all. I can't give all the game. But like, let's just say.
Yeah, give me an
let's say
example.
maybe you were talking about Kendrick Lamar, right?
Okay.
You guys were talking about Kendrick, and then so she mentioned that Swimming Pools was her favorite song, and so you text her and you'd be like, you know, I was just driving in the car and Swimming Pools came on, made me think of you. Have you ever done something like that as a
Right.
way to
Oh,
be able to reach out?
1000%.
100%. Yeah.
1000%.
Easily.
1000%. Because
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how you. They
Mhm.
don't need to know that.
And
Right.
that could go both ways.
Yeah.
That could go for you to gauge. You're throwing the fishing pole out
Right.
there to
Yeah.
see how, you know what I mean? Or you're just like, I'm really interested in her.
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. I think the polar bear, actually, I said the shark in the first, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just trying to get a
Let's
conversation with
extend
you.
this conversation a
I've
little
done
bit.
that. I've heat checked sexual chemistry that way.
Okay.
Right? So I've done that and said, dang, don't watch this. Any women that I've dated, don't watch this. Stop watching at this part. Look away. Turn your headphones off. I've been like, yo, I had a dream about you last night. When I had no dream about you at all.
Yeah.
But just to get them to be like, oh, really? What
What'd
was
you
it
dream
about? What'd you dream
about?
That's
about?
game. That's
Right.
game.
You know, and then
That's
throw
game.
a
That's
little
game.
smiley
Yeah.
face emoji, and then
Ah.
and then you know, like, you know, maybe she texts back the purple devil emoji, and then you're like, oh, I'm in there.
It's on.
Or maybe she texts back, you know, the eye roll emoji, and then you're like,
Yeah.
okay, shut that down.
Right,
Like,
right,
yeah,
right,
But
right.
I've definitely
Yeah.
I've heat checked
I
the
like that.
bedroom.
No,
before with that one.
but that's beautiful because let me
Yeah.
tell you why. Because I think a lot of men
Mhm.
and a lot of women, they go full force and they think that women want somebody to lead the entire engagement.
Mhm.
But that's not really what this dance is about.
Mhm.
This dance is
Tango.
like, hey, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And then if you do that back to me, then I'll
Yeah.
take it 2 steps.
Okay.
And then if you take it 3 steps, then I'll take it 4
It's like
steps.
American
yeah,
Pie.
you know?
When Dad was like, you want somebody to volley you, right? You want
Yeah.
somebody to hit the ball back to you, right?
It's not.
Right.
It's this dating game is about a dance. It's about
Right.
Yeah.
seduction. It's about
Mhm.
learning the other person and all
For
those
sure.
things. And I think
For sure.
if you try to lead the entire thing,
Yeah.
And if you try to just gung ho through it, that's how you're gonna let a lot of good things go.
Yeah.
You know, you sound like somebody that knows what they're talking about when it comes to dating, Mister.
Yeah.
I'm the
Don't
worst
sell
person.
yourself short.
Yeah,
I'm not
you
saying
sound pretty
I'm
knowledgeable.
no,
if you
I'm
ask me
great
right now.
at dating, but at
Oh.
the same time, I'm also unconventional in the way that
Right.
I have gotten married.
Right.
So
But again, it works for you.
it
Yeah,
worked for
and
me.
that's all
It
that
worked
matters.
for
That's all
me.
that
Yeah.
matters.
All right.
That's it.
So if we kind of wrap up this particular topic again, dating as men, or what we'd want to be asked, what we'd ask women, etc.
Yeah.
This has all been great. What do you kind of just want to hang your hat on as a recap? If you want someone to be able to relate to this one or two things, what do you guys got?
It's not that serious.
Take it slow.
But to each his own. But I think it's not that serious.
Yeah, just have fun.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. Is like
Yeah.
it should be fun, right? Like
Right.
we shouldn't be dating. Like you shouldn't be stressing yourself out.
Right.
Dating should not cause discomfort.
Right. Yeah.
To an
Yeah,
extent,
yeah.
of course, we all get a little nervous with
Sure.
butterflies, all that. But you shouldn't.
Mhm.
Like you
Mhm.
shouldn't leave a date with having a panic attack or something like
Yeah,
that. Like
yeah.
enjoy
Right,
yourself,
right.
enjoy dating. It should be
Right.
fun. You should
Yeah.
be having a good time.
I'll piggyback off of that because being married now, I wish I would have enjoyed more of the dates. I put so
Yeah.
much pressure on myself. I was too hard on myself. I was too critical about her on these dates.
Yeah.
And now if I were to, well, I'm not going to, but
If I were to get divorced,
If I was a divorced, she ain't go on some dates.
exactly.
I would just have fun.
If I was gonna say, if I could go back to my single days, I would tell myself to not take it so seriously,
Yeah.
to have fun, and
Yeah.
also as I'll give my little feedback is, just know what you want.
Yeah.
That's it, and be honest and communicate that to the person.
Yeah.
I used to play a lot
Yeah.
of mind games with women,
Yeah.
so I
Just
wish I
straight
would
up
have.
lie about what you wanted and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
just to get whatever I wanted selfishly, right?
Mhm.
So just be honest, know what your intentions are, try to
Right.
find out what they're looking for. You know what I mean? And just be respectful of people's time. Is
Yeah.
all, right?
Yeah.
And I think to piggyback off of that,
Mhm.
I think most people need to stop coming in with their preconceived intentions.
Right.
I think they need to just
Yeah.
let the person show you who they are.
Right.
And
Mhm.
and go from there, and
Yeah.
then obviously the tough questions will come up.
Right.
The
Organically.
longer, yeah,
Organically.
organically, the
Yeah,
tough
yeah, yeah.
questions will come up. They
Yeah.
will. Luckily, you and your wife were on
Mhm.
the same
Exactly.
page,
At the
but
same
that
time.
is so rare.
At the same time.
yeah,
Because to be on the same page is one thing,
yeah,
but to have the timing,
yeah,
right? Like I said, if I would have met my wife at 24,
yeah.
right, 25 years old,
She'd hate you.
our timing would have been way off.
Yeah.
I would have still wanted the same thing,
Yeah.
but
Really? At 24, 25?
I'm from Chicago, man. It's different for us.
Yeah.
We date with the intention. So your wife,
Yeah.
Shen,
I don't
is
know.
Yeah.
I know some people from Chicago. They.
well,
Yeah.
that's fair enough. Yes, that's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
true. My bad. You're right. Okay, so what I mean is the overall. I mean, you know this from the South, right? The overall premise and idea of
Marry,
from
get kids, go buy a house.
the Midwest and
Yeah.
the South
Yeah,
is
that's
you got a
true.
corporate
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
You know the idea of
You get a
success
job, you
is
get a spouse, you get some kids, you settle down.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the dream, right?
Yeah, totally.
That's true.
But anyways, okay. So I always end every episode with
With
a
a Royal
round-
Rumble.
Close though. You got the 2 R's. Round of rapid
Okay.
Ooh.
fire questions.
Hit 'em.
Ooh,
Okay.
I like
Hit 'em.
these. These
I
are
always
fun.
say the guest is not prepped. I know you watch my show.
I've
Yeah.
watched one episode.
Are you serious? Only one?
You really gonna do this to me?
He doesn't even watch Enjoy the
You've
podcast.
You've only watched one of my
I've
episodes?
only watched. I've never watched a full episode of ours. And
Yeah.
You actually are gonna.
Oh, then actually I appreciate that.
I was gonna say,
if you watch one of mine and none of ours,
Yeah.
then that means a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll let you off the hook. Anyways, I say that
I
because
watched some of ours. I do. It's
Yeah.
like I completely ignore
Yeah.
them, but
I only bring it up because I switched up the questions.
Okay.
So in case you guys did
I'm
your
not
homework.
prepared at
I didn't
all.
even know.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I didn't do any
know.
homework.
So you watch, you just don't finish the episodes.
No, I didn't. I don't know the questions. I don't know what you're gonna. I don't know what you're gonna hit me.
I don't know them
Okay.
at all.
Yeah.
Here we go. The first question is, and anyone can answer.
All right, let's go.
What does your dream life look like?
Oh man,
I'm living it, baby.
good for you.
I know that's your
Happy
answer.
for you.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. What you got, Los?
Honestly, all right. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give you two dream lives, right? I'm gonna give you the one that's just like.
I guess you
what are
make the
doing?
rules. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm giving you two. The first one is
Give me your
that.
dream life.
The first one is, so when I have a dream life, right? What I think about with the dream life is that it's something that you have to dream about,
Mhm.
right? And so if you're dream. I'm
So
just screwing with you. I'm
the-
just
What's the
screwing with
next
you.
question?
No, I'm
What's the
gonna
next
answer.
question?
But you know
I
what that's
was really-
from?
I was
You know
really
that's from?
No,
You know what that's from?
no.
It's from that little kid, and like it's like the meme where it's like, have you ever wondered?
Oh
what
yeah,
it-
yeah,
and
yeah,
you
yeah,
want-
yeah.
All right, so first dream life is
You're still pissed.
I'm on a tropical island like Bali or Guam or something. I have an
Ooh.
unlimited supply of whatever
Necessities.
marijuana strain that I want, or necessities. And I'm just chilling all day, just enjoying the tropical island and just living life. That's the first dream life.
Are you dating on this tropical
He
island?
hates that dream so much.
Are you dating on this tropical island?
Yeah, I got a few things with me.
You got a couple lady
know?
friends?
I got a couple lady friends. It's
Okay.
a little
All right.
situation. You know what I mean?
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. So the realistic one,
Is that not it?
that's a pipe dream, bro. That's never gonna happen.
Yeah, what kind of
That I just
dream
live,
life
that
is
I just
that?
own an island
Hey.
and there's beautiful women just serving me, and I
Okay.
have like an endless supply of whatever I
All right.
want. Like this is like Bezos gone bad. Basically, is my
Right.
dream life.
So
you
what's
know?
your realistic?
So the realistic one is basically what I'm doing now, except elevated. Right. That our podcast is something that is
yeah.
bringing in income to where we could, if we wanted to, we could just do that.
Right.
Yeah.
That the other things I'm involved in, music and cannabis, just level up. Everything, it's literally everything that I'm doing, just
Yeah.
Beautiful.
to a different level.
love it.
So yeah,
It's a great answer. Okay.
I'm almost living the dream.
Long-winded, but I appreciate
Yeah,
that
it's
answer.
not rapid. That's not.
That's the last.
I make
opposite
the
of rapid.
rules around here, baby.
Okay. Question number 2.
Okay.
In one word. And this, I
Define
have this. I literally
one
have
word.
this written down.
Define one word.
In one word.
Okay.
How would you guys sum up your 2020?
Man.
Reborn.
Ooh, dang, that's a good
I
one.
like that.
I wish I had thought of that one.
That's good.
What you got, bro?
Transcendent.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 3. And this is deep. Just disclaimer.
Like the other ones weren't.
So prepare
I
your
feel like
prepare
everything's
your
been-
answer, Los.
Okay.
What do you want to be known for when you leave this earth? So think
For
legacy.
me, For me, I want to make sure that everybody, when they're going through the tough times, not only the tough times, but when they're on their highs,
Mm-hmm.
to enjoy it. Even the terrible, terrible times.
Yeah.
Find something to enjoy. Because that word has saved me from so much trauma and so much drama when I could find the reasons why I am enjoying where I am at right now. Because
dope.
it could take me off
Right.
if
Yeah.
I don't.
Right. Right.
So
I love
that would be something that I want people to
I love it.
I think for me, I just want people to, when they think of me, just to be like, he was a good person.
Overall, yeah.
Just overall, I feel like that's all anybody can really ask, you know. And I
Yeah.
think that's the ultimate for me. I feel like that's the ultimate goal that everybody should strive for.
Yeah,
You know, if
yeah.
you can do more, if you can
Mhm.
impact people more and
Mhm.
and leave a bigger mark, or on this world, that's great. But I think just being a good person,
Right.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
that's
Which
that's what we all
unfortunately
need.
is kind of rare nowadays.
Yeah.
So for you to, yeah.
Yeah, but I
That's-
think just if people, when I'm gone, if they think of me and they say he was a good guy, I
Mhm.
think that's
Mhm.
that's all I
That's
can
it.
ask for.
Yeah. Okay.
Just don't text him.
Just don't over communicate that
Just
he's a
don't-
good
just-
person.
Just read the vibes. Read the vibes. You know what I mean? And if the vibes are there, text away. But if I'm,
yeah.
respect the vibe, respect the boundaries.
Respect the boundaries.
All right. Question number 4. Side note: this is the longest rapid fire I've ever had, but it's all good. Question number 4. What's something you'd want women to know about men? One thing.
He's lying.
You know what? I know you're not
The
lying.
married guy
I know you're
says
not
that.
lying. I know you're not lying.
Yeah.
That's your
yeah,
answer.
Yeah, he's lying. He's lying. If you feel it, he's lying.
Los.
Man, this is such a not. Ask me one more time. I'm just gonna blurt out whatever
Okay.
comes in my
All
head.
right.
All right.
What's something you'd want women to know about men?
We're dumb.
That's a good one.
Okay.
I second that.
All right. Last question.
See, I had to
Yeah.
like unfocus, so I
Yeah.
had to focus in on you.
Last question.
Yeah.
What do you guys individually admire most about you?
I'd say my patience. I have a lot of patience and calmness about me, and it's taken me a long time to acquire that.
I can second that.
Yeah.
You're probably one of the most patient person I know.
Oh, you acquired it. You weren't born with it.
No. And I mean, I fight with it to this day.
I
It's
gotta learn
something that
from
I have
you.
to fight
Me
constantly.
too.
Oh yeah, no.
Give me some of that. Let me have some of that.
Yeah.
I mean,
We should do a whole episode on patience.
Right. And you can lead it.
We can. It's a constant. It's a battle. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's the analogy that I use for myself is a lot of times I feel like a duck on top of a lake, right? Like if you see a duck swimming or a swan, it's just gliding, right? But under the water,
They just
it's churning. So I mean, that's my patience is kind of built like that. Whereas it's like it appears very calm and everything's cool, but on the inside, I'm working.
That's a
Yeah.
great
I'm putting in the
metaphor.
work. I'm like,
Great
but
metaphor.
so.
I love it.
I would something that I am very proud of about myself is my adaptability. My ability to get thrown in situations that I have no idea what I'm doing,
Right.
but be able to adapt to whatever my surroundings are.
Yeah.
So that's something that I am proud of.
I feel like I think all three of us probably have that, and I think that has
Yeah.
to do with all three of us have a similar upbringing where we didn't grow up in traditional households.
Yep.
We had to bounce around a lot, and I think all three of us had to find our footing
Yeah.
very quickly, like
100%.
rapid fire.
100%.
And but to your, I think that's definitely.
Yeah.
I could definitely second that because I've seen you thrown into some rooms where it's like,
What the
what are you gonna do?
Oop, sorry.
And
Edit it out.
what the funk? Hey, what the funk?
But yeah. I'll piggyback off of that
Yeah.
because you said one of the questions you would ask a girl on a date is, where have you traveled? And
Right.
that has in large part to do with my adaptability because
Yeah.
you're very uncomfortable when you travel, even if it's for vacation. I'm more pertaining to work, right? But when you can adapt, I'm talking airport to airport, hotel to hotel, different language. Like that's hard to do. It's not for everybody.
Well, and to piggyback off of you,
piggyback,
double
yeah,
piggyback.
piggyback.
We're
wow,
Y'all just
3 hops. You're Euro stepping on the piggyback. Hey.
But no, I remember reading. I skimmed it. I didn't read.
You read?
Yeah, on a third grade level.
No, you speak on a. You read on a professional level.
I read on
college
a
level,
very high level. But I skimmed through an article that had basically the premise was that if you really want to know if somebody's right for you, travel with them.
Yeah.
Right. Because you're gonna get thrown into some crap that bags missing, language barriers, all that, and so now you have to deal with not only the situation, but also you have to deal with this person. So
That's crazy.
you'll learn a lot about them real quick, and it's not like travel with them to Big Bear. It's like no, go to Mexico with this person.
That's what me and Shay did.
Yeah.
That's what me and Shay did.
Really?
We knew each other. Quick story. We knew each other for 3 weeks, and I had an opportunity to go to Hawaii, and my friend. She had just gotten married and they were gonna do a honeymoon there on a timeshare thing, and the husband couldn't go for whatever reason. And so she's like, look, I don't know too many people that can just up and go with their schedule, but you can.
Yeah.
And she's like, she's a flight attendant. She goes, I'll even give you a buddy pass if you want to bring somebody. Now I am at lunch. I'm at lunch with Shay 3 weeks in, and I'm like,
wait, you're at lunch. So
I'm at lunch.
So
I'm
you're
live.
visiting. You're visiting.
I'm visiting. I'm
Okay.
texting my friend, and I'm at lunch with Shay, and I'm like,
hey, so
look, I've never done this before. This is the first time
go to
for me.
Hawaii?
I got this opportunity. You literally, it's all expenses paid for. You don't have to worry about. Do you want to go? And I even said, to your point, I said, one thing's for sure, we're going to learn a lot about each other and whether or not this is going to go far.
Yeah.
Right.
I said it to her. And to this day, out of all the trips we've taken, that was our best trip to date.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was the trip. That was the moment that I knew she was there was a moment within the moment, but that was when I knew she was the one. It's a whole nother episode.
Dang, hey,
whole nother episode.
Y'all's self power, y'all's willpower. I mean.
Oh, you're talking about because we waited. That's a
no,
whole nother episode.
I know that. No, but be fair here. Come on, like don't awe me, like. Bro,
that's what I thought you were going.
It is where I'm going.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
Okay,
I'm really impressed by y'all because I mean that just shows your dedication to the relationship.
Yeah,
right.
You know what I mean? Like
that explains your questions.
Hawaii,
yeah.
Like bro, you.
Yeah, for sure.
Come on.
For sure.
And y'all over here. Oh, here we go. Like no, that's like Hawaii, my guy. Like
I for sure.
Shout out to you and Shay for that.
I appreciate that. And more
ringing some doorbells.
Context, like so. More context. Shay and I waited to have sex for quite a bit of time in today's day and age standards,
including the Hawaii trip.
That's
so to your point.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
That's some self-control right there.
Yes, it is.
Because I for sure would have been like, you know what?
Buddhist monk levels.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do this, babe. So
I need a different room.
yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna take this time. It's been a beautiful experience,
voyage,
and this is gonna help out a lot of people.
I think a lot of people will be able to relate.
100%.
Can you let JD go?
No.
I wish you didn't.
Dang it, I should have.
You should have. Anyways, I'm gonna take this time. I always acknowledge my guests at the end of every episode, and I was looking forward to this part of the episode with you guys because I know we're on a group text, we're on a group IG chat, and you know, oftentimes we'll, you know, hype each other up, sing each other's praises, show gratitude and appreciation. But here we are live.
Yeah.
And
right.
And I'll start with you, Los.
Okay.
We'll go outside in. I really appreciate. It's funny you said patience. But I appreciate that, and I had that before you said that. But I also, the main thing I appreciate is that you have no ego. You are so go with the flow, and I mean in the best. It's a huge compliment.
Yeah.
Like, I mean in the best way possible. Like, I remember when I came on Enjoy the Podcast. I know we know the story, but they don't.
Yeah.
You know, you felt away,
yeah.
and as you said, you realized you were territorial.
Yeah.
You know, you and Jared have been friends for 10 plus years, give or take.
Yeah.
And, you know, you guys did an episode without me, and this is before I even came on board. And so I just appreciate your willing to adjust and to be open, right? Especially for me coming on, getting to know you those last couple months. You impressed me, man. And like I said, the main thing is just the fact that you're just a very go with the flow person. And that's one of the only reasons as to why we work with our show. So that's from me to you.
Thank you.
Jay, I definitely appreciate and want to acknowledge your adaptability. And more so, you having this open arm willingness that you offer to your closest people. You know, I pick your brain about a lot of stuff, especially when it comes to, you know, production and shows and all this stuff, and you're just always available, even if it's like you're never short with me. You know, you're never like, oh, I'll call you next week, and you don't call. Like you're a man of your word, and you and Shan are both very you welcome people with open arms, and I appreciate that. And the biggest thing that I can give you, I know I said in the voice note, you are the most talented human being that I personally know.
Oh shoot, I received that.
Man,
tugging my little heartstrings.
I mean, I've been putting up in this episode, you know, Los and Jared's Instagram handles, and please go check them out and watch Jared's film, which Los is also starring in.
Yeah.
And but when Shay and I watched your short film, I was speechless.
Oh, wow.
And that is very difficult to keep me speechless.
Yeah.
So I definitely I respect the howdy, man. I told you this the other night, that you're the first person that is younger than me that I look up to.
Oh wow.
So
I appreciate that.
So again,
man.
from me to you.
See that.
Okay, so where can people find you guys? Again, the Instagram's already on here, rolling, but what are you guys working on? What's next? What do you want people to know?
Oh, me first?
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
Where's my Instagram going to be at? It's going to be here, right
it's
here.
probably gonna.
Where can I point at it?
Right here.
Right here.
Like,
so you can find me here. Right here, Blame Los.
There it is.
It's right there. Right now, what am I working on? So, cannabis stuff. Without going into too much details. Oh, I can. All right. So,
you want,
I have a partner who we're working on different strands, different genetics. So we're doing that. That should be hopefully 2021. The laws will catch up with where everybody is at, and we'll be able to try some new things out without giving away too much of our plans, because we don't want to give away the game too much. But we hope for some laws to change and to introduce some new scenes to the cannabis world.
Yeah.
So got that going. Musically, we're going to be working on a new project with this talented individual here.
Yeah.
So we also just put out a record. VVS Radio came out as well.
Hey.
Make sure
I'm
I
kind of
put that.
taking some of his stuff here, but
Hey.
anything
No,
you see
take it off.
this
Take it
guy doing, I'm in the background somewhere,
Right,
somehow pulling some strings. So,
Yep.
yeah, just Jared stuff and weed stuff, and then I just always have random mixes and artists that I'm working with. So,
Yep.
Okay.
yeah, just more music, more weed. Oh, and more podcasting.
More
Hey.
podcast.
Gotcha.
You can find me, Enjoy Jared Brady, across everything. I am working on a new project. Like Lo said, I just dropped a single. I have a podcast with these two gentlemen
Yeah.
that is doing very well. And
Hey.
it's starting to cause a ruckus
In
because
the
we
best
talk
way.
about some interesting topics that if you are a
Wild
fan of this
stuff.
show, you might not want to go over there. 'Cause
Or
it
you
might.
might.
Or you
Or
might.
you really might.
Or you
know?
might.
You're
You
either
might.
gonna- if
You
you
might.
like, if you like Who Can Relate, you're either gonna like or
Or
dislike
hate
Enjoy the
us.
podcast.
Uh,
I
so
literally
yeah.
didn't say anything.
Either way, we welcome the haters. Go ahead and go over there.
I don't have haters. We have haters and enjoy the podcast. I don't have haters.
Okay.
Not over here. This is a positive space.
Yeah.
Nobody hates.
This
on
is health
Who
and
Can
wellness.
Relate.
Okay, well, if you like health and wellness, you might not like Enjoy the podcast.
Yeah, but you might.
true, that's
But you
true.
might. You might like.
But yeah, that's what I'm working on. And yeah, that's my life in a nutshell.
Yeah. All right. Again, I'll make sure I link all the info for you guys, especially the VVS track, because it is fire.
Hey,
Been on repeat. And again, the main reason why I wanted these two fine gentlemen to come on the show is to talk about Enjoy the Podcast. I think we're still trying to figure out what the overall umbrella is of it, but I like to call it the educational locker room talk.
yeah,
That's
like
kinda how I
that.
put it.
That's cool.
So if Who Can Relate is a PG show, Enjoy the Podcast is definitely rated R.
Rated XX.
It's
Triple X.
It's probably, yeah.
So loud.
So
Over at Enjoy the Podcast, we will tell you everything he is not telling you.
hey.
Yeah.
At the end of that, perfect.
My hands are too cold to do
So
that.
anyways, yeah, we're going to get out of here. It's freezing outside. We're very hungry, but I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys for
Yeah.
coming on.
Thanks for having us on.
Thank
man.
you. It's been a long time.
Thank you for having
long
us.
time coming. So,
It's been a long
and
time.
see you guys next time.
Who can relate?
Who Can Relate?
Who can relate?
I showed up in boots and ruined your black tie affair.
Only country song I know.
It's a great country song.
Huh? Clap. Somebody clap.
Just make a clap.
Yeah. That's what I also was thinking, like, dating, I'm terrible for this topic because I'm so unconventional.
But that's great.
Yeah.
It's great because people will just watch.
Yeah.
And like, I think the difference between Enjoy audience and Who Can Relate is
Who Can Relate?
Could it be la 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 la? Could it be lies? Could it be la 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 la? Could it be lies? Could it be you? La ha ha.
Jay, where's my crop here?
You're like here.
You don't
It's
see my
close. It's
phone?
tied up. No.
Okay.
Lie. You lie.
So I'm gonna just so you guys know, I'm also gonna ask for. Come on, Los.
Is it supposed to beep like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pull the mic. Okay.
Did you clap? I clap. Or Los
Los
clap.
clap.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Pull your mic over.
Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do.
Okay, go, bro.